We all remember some of the most amazing and tremendous moments of the basketball event happening on and off the court. The NBA usually finds success in what its players do, but that's not to say there haven't been a few stories to talk about involving negative actions. In fact, there have been many embarrassing moments in the NBA's history. Here is our collection of the 10 most embarrassing moments. It's hard to fathom some of these events occurring, but they're all true. With that in mind, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy it. So without further ado, let's discuss the top 10 most embarrassing moments in the NBA ever. So let's begin. Number 10. Robinson jumping all over Pierce. In 2010, the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks were playing down to the wire in a close game. In the final possession, the ball was in Paul Pierce's hands, and as customary of the truth, he was able to seal the game with a clutch jumper. With the games decided, Paul Pierce ran to the other end of the court like an aeroplane to showboat his great play. Teammate Nate Robinson wanted to celebrate with Pierce and jump on his back, but apparently Pierce wasn't interested. What resulted was an awkwardly hilarious sequence that nearly broke Nate's neck. Hopefully, Nate has learned something from this and will keep his feet planted to the ground, rather than his face, and celebrate safely. Number 9. Nick Young shoots a three. Confident he made it, it bricked. When you're getting into a good rhythm on the court, it may feel like the rim is a mile wide and you can't miss. That's how Nick Young felt in the middle of a blowout game in 2014 versus the Knicks, when Swaggy P launched a three-pointer and turned away from the goal to celebrate, certain that he had swished the shot only to realize a second later he had missed. The moment took place at the tail end of a Laker record 51-point fourth quarter, when Nick Young took another three-point jumper and turned his back to the basket to raise his arms and flash the three-pointer hand signal. In hilarious fashion, the ball would clang in and out, and Young would have to cut the premature showboating short to get back on defense. It's not something that Young should hang his head in shame about though, but it was fun nevertheless. Number 8. Pistons leave Bulls hanging, refuse to shake hands after ECF loss. The playoff atmosphere can get pretty intense between teams trying desperately to advance to win a championship. However, as chippy and physical as things get on the court, in the end, when the series is decided, it's customary for both teams and coaches to meet up and shake hands in a show of sportsmanship. When the final buzzer sounded, one by one of the Pistons quickly whisked past the Chicago Bulls bench, some not even making eye contact. The Bulls watched in awkward amazement as they were totally ignored and denied handshakes. It was butthurt, sore loserism at its worst. Number 7. Tim Duncan ejected by NBA ref Joey Crawford for laughing. It was during a regular season game in 2007 when Joey Crawford gave the Spurs franchise player back-to-back technical fouls, simply because he was laughing on the bench during a game against the Dallas Mavericks. Just laughing. To make matters worse, he even challenged Tim Duncan to a fight if he had a problem with the decision. Yes, a tiny 60-year-old ref threatened the 7-foot Tim Duncan with fisticuffs. Number 6. Reggie Evans grabs Kaman's nuts. If you're playing in the NBA, you're playing among the world's biggest and strongest ball players, so you need to do whatever you can to gain an advantage. When it comes to boxing out to grab rebounds or getting favorable positioning in the paint, some crafty players have gotten away with elbows and tugging on a player's shorts, but grabbing a person's junk, that may be taking things a bit too far. That's what PF Reggie Evans did to center Chris Kaman in the 2006 incident, which resulted in Kaman getting a flagrant foul for shoving Evans. Fortunately for the rest of the NBA, Reggie Evans is no longer in the league, so players can rest easy knowing their testicles will be safe. Number 5. Kevin Love Wesley Johnson handshake attempt. In the NBA, it's customary for teammates to show solidarity and support with frequent handshakes. Some get cute and do special handshakes that have all sorts of gestures and movements in them that they may have spent more time on choreography than practicing that shot. Easy peasy, right? Apparently not for the former Minnesota Timberwolves teammate Kevin Love and Wesley Johnson, who found themselves in a painfully awkward handshake gone wrong that would never end. Or did it ever really begin? Johnson would try to go for a handshake, but Love would take too long to approach. Once Love was ready, Johnson looked to have given up on it. When Johnson noticed that Love had extended his hand, he looked to come back, but the distance was too much that he once again disengaged. Finally, they would meet up to awkwardly seal the deal. Yes, I just provided a play-by-play of the entire charade. Number 4. Draymond Green snaps on reporter over terrible flood question. In another instance of dumb reporter questions, a reporter was put on blast by Golden State Warriors player Draymond Green at the Game 4 post-game press conference of the 2016 NBA playoffs. The Warriors had just beaten the Houston Rockets on the road in Houston. The reporter apparently felt the outcome of the game was decided by Mother Nature and asked a question so foolish and insensitive it went viral. The reporter's words were, "So last year you visit Houston. Game 3, there's no flood. You win. Game 4, there was the flood. You lose. This year you visit Houston. Game 3, there's a flood. You lose. Game 4, there's no flood. You win." It was there that Draymond would stop the reporter and go off on him regarding his insensitivity and attempt to trivialize the floods that had claimed lives. It was embarrassing journalism. Number 3. Iverson and Webern no-show before tip-off. Coach finds out from reporter. No matter how good we are at our jobs, if we no-show without a good reason, you better believe there will be severe consequences. Productivity comes to a halt and everyone else has to pick up the slack on top of their duties, making a tense environment for everyone involved. Add some cameras and reporters into the mix and the tardiness is magnified into a media disaster. That's what happened in 2006 when Philadelphia 76ers coach Maurice Cheeks was gobsmacked by the news that his two-star players weren't at the arena to play that night's game, 55 minutes before tip-off. Being not able to make up on time was a disappointment, and the moment of embarrassment was faced by the coach Cheek in front of the reporter. Number 2. The 1918 game. In the 1950-51 season, the Minneapolis Lakers were the best team in the league and had a front court that featured legends George McCann, Jim Pollard, and Vern Mickelson. On November 22, 1950, in Minnesota, that team took on the Fort Wayne Pistons. After Pistons head coach Murray Mendenhall promised a tussle in Minneapolis, the Pistons instead went on to hold the ball for as long as 5 minutes in a row, without taking a shot. And as a result, the final score was 19-18 in favor of the Pistons. McCann had the only 4 field goals in the Lakers' losing effort. Although this is one of the NBA's most embarrassing moments, it was certainly revolutionary in the fact that it helped bring about the 24-second shot clock. Number 1. Michael Jordan's Hall of Fame speech. It goes without saying that Michael Jordan is the GOAT when it comes to the game of basketball. MJ's illustrious career, filled with numerous accolades and championship rings, has proven that his induction into the Hall of Fame was an absolute no-brainer. In 2009, Jordan had finally reached the zenith of his profession by being enshrined in the Hall of Fame and was given the stage to conduct an acceptance speech worthy of his greatness. And boy, did he deliver. With tears in his eyes, Jordan would stick it to all his doubters in his life, going so far as to fly various people, like his high school coach Pop Herring, only to publicly berate him. The entire speech came off hysterically petty and had his peers squirming in their seats. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and thumbs up if you have liked it. And do hit the subscribe button so that you won't be missing out on any interesting videos from now on.